Frigidaire. It means the first electric refrigerator. The first compact electric range. Now, there's the Frigidaire Gallery Range with Symmetry double ovens. It's designed to cook multiple dishes at multiple temperatures, so you can prepare the entire meal at the same time. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Hi, I'm John Mattles. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this day. It's on the air, off the presses. Glad to have you along. 436-ME-TV, option 11. Our guest today talking about Chukchansi Casino, still shut down, and also some of those races. I think most have been determined at this point. Back with our program in just a moment.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
Back here on the program on a Monday morning on the showroom floor at Ventura TV. Glad you're along here. You're watching us live on Comcast, channel 187, 43.6, and now 13.1. And by the way, my friends, now you can watch us live, or not live, but the replay at 2 on YouTube at 13.6, and also 8 o'clock tonight, 13.5. That would be Biz TV. And I also want to mention today that we are happy to announce that Tom Casagrande, he's a doctor, by the way, he's an optometrist. 2020 Optometrics is our brand new sponsor here on the program. More than 2,000 frames. He's been in business 20 years, located over there near Shaw and Blackstone in the same parking lot with more furniture. So if you want, go over and see Dr. Tom Casagrande if you're having eye problems. Hey, our guest today, we're going to be talking about this ongoing story. I'm going to roll the videotape, show you exactly what I'm talking about. The ongoing story, courtesy of our Fresno Bee, our friends over there. And last month, this is what happened at Chukchansi Casino. Well, the place remained shut down. This after one of the tribal leaders conducted a forced takeover at gunpoint last month. A federal judge ordered the casino shut down. He held a second hearing at some point in which he said, hey, this place is going to remain shut down. So many arrests to talk about on this day. Now, are some of these people still in jail, or have they bailed out? Hey, how about Tex McDonald for one? He was roughed up in jail, from what I read. John Oliveira for another. He's the one that led the charge in here at gunpoint. You're looking at security video of the takeover. This shutdown has been a major blow to the economy, the Central Valley. More than 100 people have been laid off. I can't see where this casino is going to open up anytime soon. It's an ongoing story right here in the Central Valley. You can call us at 436-ME-TV option 11. Live in our studio right now to talk about this and much more is Dennis Hart, our media expert. He is making his 25th appearance here on Connect with Me on Me TV Fresno. So we're going to be talking about the casino and some of the election day races that they dragged on beyond election day. There are 3 races in particular we're going to be talking about, including that Costa race. It appears to be over now, but you can call us again. The number 436-ME-TV option 11. And again, thank you. This show today sponsored by Dr. Thomas Casagrande. Back with our program in a moment. At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today.
The Ballad of Andy and Barney. Andy and Barney were lawmen, bravest you ever did see. Warned every crook in the record book to stay out of Mayberry. They were the law.
Yes, they were the law,
and they didn't know fear.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I guess to sum it up, you could say there's 3 reasons why there's so little crime in Mayberry. There's Andy, and there's me, and baby makes 3.
Now on MeTV Fresno.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Back here on the program, connect with me on the air, off the presses, 436-MeTV, option 11, if you want to call in and ask your question today. Dennis Hart, 25th appearance here on the program.
25 times in 2 years.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So you're still in good health.
Good
Congratulations.
To see you.
Good to see you, my
good
friend.
health, looking good. Yeah,
you
that's
look
me,
good.
not you, of course, but yes,
Well,
good to see you.
I don't know. It could be a close contest here.
Good to see you. Well, we have a lot to talk about today,
I know.
don't
This
we?
Chancey thing, it just, this casino story won't go away.
Best story in the Valley, continuing best story. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of the, what do we got here? We've got greed, avarice, we've got lust for money, etc. We've got all of it. These tribes up in Coarsegold, Oakhurst, refusing to compromise to share a $9 or $10 million a month windfall that this casino brings them. That's $100 million a year or so. Fighting each other, 3 or 4 factions, each of them trying to disenroll the other faction to reduce the number of tribal members who share in the money. You go from 900 tribal members, which we currently have. One group's trying to get it down to 46, so they can get the 100 million. 46 tribal members. You have people going into the casino with clubs and guns and all of this to fight other factions. It's a heck of a story, isn't it?
Great. I'm glad these security cameras were rolling. So the Fresno Bee could put it up on their website so we could show it to you. But 436-MeTV, option 11 is the telephone number here. Hey, I want to introduce our audience to, and I may be familiar with this guy, some of the characters involved in the casino shutdown. Let's start with Tex McDonald. Oh, my gosh. Roughed up in jail, Dennis, and he was complaining about it because they apparently worked him over a little bit, huh?
Tex is one of the competing tribal leaders up there. Yes, he's the one who helped lead the raid into the casino about a month ago that prompted the feds and the state to shut down the casino because there were 500 or so customers in there who were at danger. So he went in there. He's been arrested. He's in jail on, let's see, I want to get his bail right, $2.4 million in the Madera County Jail, and apparently somebody either broke his nose, roughed him up, etc. His attorney was in court last week saying, well, you know, this guy isn't safe in that jail. Ironically, of course, he's one of the guys who led the raid up there a month ago that resulted in some injuries. So that's where we are. He's in jail, $2.4 million bail.
But you look at him, put his picture back up there just for a minute. Who would want to mess with this guy in jail? Look how big this guy is. Show the other photo, too. I mean, he's
well, as big as he is.
He's a big dude.
Let me say, though, that there
way.
probably are bigger and tougher people in any jail than Tex. Tex probably doesn't have a lot of experience in being in jail. But, yeah, I mean, a lot of the guys, they indicted 15 people, all right? They're looking for 15 guys involved in this raid. At least 8 of them have been arrested or turned themselves in, Tex among them. And John Oliveira was he's a tribal guy, the tribe police guy. He's in jail as well.
Oh, yeah.
And
there he is. That's Oliveira right there.
There you go.
He bailed out last week.
And, of course, he's now made an interesting claim. He claimed, without any documented proof, to the Fresno Bee a little bit ago that John Anderson, the sheriff of Madera County, who's been called up there numerous times to get between these tribal factions, he claimed that he, at one point, had evidence. There's Sheriff Anderson, the outgoing sheriff of Madera County.
He'll be out of office in January.
Yeah, this Oliveira claims that he found documents that showed that Anderson was on the take, that he had taken a couple of $100,000, a condo, some other gifts, etc., from one of the competing tribal factions. Now, Oliveira also says that he had the documentation on this at one point, but no longer has it. So he cannot cannot prove this.
He can't find it.
But the Bee went with the story anyway without any documentation, slandering the sheriff of Madera County. So it's a wonderful story. It
He
really
must have
is.
buried that information along with a coffee can that has all that cash in there, huh?
You know,
in the backyard or something?
We laugh about this, but
Yeah, it's a joke.
it's a serious story in that it's a very serious story. You've got the tribal members who are threatening each other's health and well-being. You've got this case of greed and avarice, $100 million deal a year up there, and they can't agree on how to share it. Can't possibly share it. But you've got the feds stepping in the state, shutting the place down. 1,000 people who worked up there are no longer working up there, so they're out of work. They've got no money coming into eastern Madera County. Madera County, of course, as we talked last time, as you know, has made a deal about, well, we have 1,000 people working up at Chukchansi. We wanted to have this casino up on Highway 99, which was going to employ another 600 or 700. The voters turned that down 2 or 3 weeks ago. That was the reservation shopping casino up on 99. So they built much of their economy on gambling. Now, is that really a good thing for a county to base its economy on? So it's a serious story, but at the same time, it's one of those train wrecks you can't turn away from.
Yeah, I think I said in the monologue more than 100 people. I meant to say more than 1,000 people out of work, and I don't know if many of those people might be on unemployment right now. But what do you do, Dennis, when there is no other industry in the county?
Right.
I mean, you got to have a casino up there to put people to work. So now, without the casino, where are these people going to go to work?
Well, where were they working before, and what were they doing before? I don't know that I don't know that you have to have a casino. It is a fact that Madera County has the casino up there, and they wanted the casino on 99, and they may still get it down the road. Who knows?
Right.
But it is unfortunate. I mean, think about, you're talking again about a lucrative. It's bringing money in. You've got enough fools out there who want to go up to a casino to throw their money away. Okay. $100 million a year for these Indians, and they can't compromise on how to divide it up. That's remarkable.
But there were a lot of people that go up to the casino that have budgeted in their weekly or monthly budget that they spend X amount of dollars gambling.
Understand.
Because they can afford it.
Well, no. A lot of surveys show that the people who gamble are people who are on Social Security, older people who are at the bottom of the rung. They're looking for the big hit because they don't have great careers going. Same types of people who play the lottery. These are not people who already have money. These are people who want the money.
There, you see the same faces, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
You see the same faces over and over and over again. That's what keeps that casino going, by the way.
Of course. I mean, when I say fools, I don't mean that these are dumb people. I mean, these are people who, for whatever reason, believe they're going to be the ones who do what most people, 99%, can't do. They're going to win the money up there. Well, the casino is not in business to give people money. The casino is in business to take money from people, and they do it very well. All casinos do that. Only a very few people ever come away with money, as they do in a lotto, etc. But the bottom line is now Madera County's in some economic trouble. Nobody knows what's going to happen to the casino because the judge, as you know, has kept it shut indefinitely. Next hearing is coming up next month, but he has seen no sign that these people are ready to compromise, and they're not. They yell at each other outside the courthouse. They threaten each other. I don't see any sign that they're ready to get together. Do you?
Yeah, $9 or $10 million a month.
Can't decide on how to share it.
Do you think you and I would get along for that kind of money?
I'm thinking we would be lovers for that kind of money. Okay, I mean, for $9 or $10 million.
Speak for yourself. I don't think so. I highly doubt.
No, well, I'm not suggesting it.
I highly doubt
I think
that.
we could decide on how to share $10 million a month. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You're on Connect with Me, caller. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Talking about the casinos, since Table Mountain opened up, believe it or not, I only went once when it first opened, and I've never gone back anymore. Chukchansi, it opened up. I never got to go there. It's just something that I just don't like doing. I'm on Social Security, so I'm one of those smart ones.
Yes.
I'd rather keep the money in my pocket than give it to them.
How many people did you see up there when you went to Table Mountain who you thought were also on Social Security, older folks? A lot of them?
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. And let me tell you, my sister moved to Las Vegas in 98. She and my brother-in-law. But believe it or not, my sister has a lot of willpower because she doesn't go to the casinos. The only time she goes to the casinos if somebody in the family from Fresno visits, and she'll go with them to kind of show them around Las Vegas, and that's it. But to say that she likes going, she says, you have no guarantee that you're going to win.
You almost have a guarantee you're going to lose because that's how a casino makes its money.
That's what I tell them.
Yeah.
I have a friend that goes every week. Every week she goes to Table Mountain, and she comes back complaining and angry because she hasn't won anything. I said, you know what? When you're going to go to the casino, you've got this to think this way. You're going to go, but you don't know if you're going to win or lose. So be prepared to lose.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call.
Thank you so very much.
That's a great call. Dennis
Yeah.
Hart is here today talking about Chancey Casino. Hey, we'll talk a little bit about what kind of an effect this might have on the Grizzlies down the road if this thing continues. 436-ME-TV, option 11. Call in, turn down the sound. Back in a moment.
This fall, there is a place, familiar and inviting, timeless and warm. Me TV, a place all your own that you can call home.
Hi, honey, I'm home.
This fall, home is where you'll find me.
You mean to tell me that's all there is to it?
That's all.
Me TV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
Back here on the program with Dennis Hart, I want to introduce you to a couple of more characters here. Nancy Ayala, Reggie Lewis. Let's put them up side by side this time. And Nancy is on the left, obviously. Lewis on the right. How do these two figure in here, Dennis?
They're another of the tribal factions. They are the opposition to Tex McDonald. They are the ones who were in control of the casino on that night last month when the McDonald forces went in with their sticks and clubs and whatever else they went in to take it over. They are also the ones who were in charge, who the federal government demanded that they submit an audit. They have to submit an audit every year to see where the money goes. They finally submitted their audit, and it shows that the casino is missing $50 million. Just gone, somewhere gone, et cetera, et cetera. So these are the folks who were in charge. McDonald came in to try to take it away from them. Let's just say that these group, the two you see on the screen right now, and Tex McDonald, they don't like each other.
No, they don't. Caller, you there?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead.
Okay, Dennis, you were right about the casino drawing about, I would say about 80% are senior citizens. They go up there constantly, payday, or even before then, because my daughter works at the Tahachi and Lemoore.
Yes.
And she'll tell me, you know, what makes the money, you know, like bingo, and you know, the cards are for the younger people nowadays, and the people that have the money. But the machines are the ones that make the money, as well as bingo. But 80% of the draw is, and it's roughly about 80%, maybe more. But they're the ones that are keeping the casinos open. They're senior citizens. They go there constantly thinking they're going to win the big one.
Right.
And, and that's the way it is, you know.
What's really sad
is
is, I'm sure that you've seen this, a lot of folks, a lot of seniors go up there as soon as they get their Social Security checks. They'll go up there and punch it in those slot machines, et cetera, et cetera. It's really sad. I have been to a couple of casinos. I'm not a gambler. I've been to Table Mountain a couple of times. That's it. And exactly what I've seen is what you're telling me. Okay?
Was it crowded when
it was,
you went?
Of course it was crowded. And this was during a weekday. And these are seniors who are there.
Mostly seniors.
Yes, and they're up there and they're literally punching those dollars into those slot machines. Punching.
Social Security
yes,
checks.
It's really sad to see that. And what do you think, caller, should happen with Chuck Chancey?
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, you're gone.
Caller's
Okay.
gone.
All right.
Hey, I do want to ask you another question, though, and I know we didn't plan to show this during the show today, but I think we got it somewhere in the system. Pull up that picture at Chancey Park.
Oh, good heavens.
All right. Now, the Grizzlies, I mean, we can talk about this all day long until we're blue in the
There it
face.
is.
There's the ballpark right there.
Yes.
Obviously, $1 million a year from Chancey Casino, the sponsorship and the naming rights for that ballpark. The Grizzlies have paid, I guess, their debt for the year through, I believe, next October or maybe November. Maybe September, I'm not sure. But for the next few months, they're covered.
Yes.
Okay, if
Yes.
this casino continues and remains shut down, what kind of an effect will this have on the Grizzlies?
Well, you've lost $1 million right there. You've got to find another, somebody flush with money to throw it and put up the name on that particular ballpark. Yeah.
What do the Grizzlies do?
Well, the
if
Grizzlies,
that money is not there anymore.
as we have talked, the Grizzlies are another dicey situation here in Fresno, aren't they? They have lost the affiliation with the San Francisco Giants. Now they're affiliated with the Houston Astros. And I was here last time asking any of our callers if they could name any Astro, and nobody could call in and name an Astro.
No.
So that's going to be a disastrous blow for the Grizzlies potentially, because let's face it, With the Giants winning the World Series, there's no interest in the Houston Astros in Fresno. Now you've got this
Not
chance.
according to the Grizzlies. They're excited about
Oh,
having
I'm sure
the
they are.
Astros here.
I'm sure they are. No question. And being able and losing potentially the naming rights. Now there are other casinos. Maybe Table Mountain wants to come in. Maybe Tachi Palace wants to come in. Who knows? But what does it say about your operation when the best you can hope for is a naming right is a casino? That's who's available to put the naming rights on. Wow.
Hey, maybe Ventura TV will step up to the plate. You
$1
never
million
know.
bucks. That's all it takes is $1 million.
$1 million,
Put a couple
yeah.
of big screens around the park.
You and I can do that.
We can do it.
Yeah,
we can do it.
that. All right. Caller, you there?
Yes, I just want to say happy silver anniversary.
Yeah.
25 times on the show. That's great.
Thank you very much. And I don't look a day over 15, do I? But here it is 25 times on the show.
Absolutely right.
Thank you.
Good makeup job.
I was wondering on Chuck Chansey, could the judge put it, I'm using the wrong words, but like into receivership where he could reopen the casino and instead of divvying out the money to either tribe members, put it into like a escrow account, and then you could reopen it, pay the bills, and start the employment up again, that type of thing.
Well, you have to have the judge can.
What do you think of that idea?
The judge can reopen the casino at any time once he determines that it is safe for the customers, safe for the public to go in. However, in order to reopen the casino without the tribe being in control, he would have to either somehow find a loophole that says the federal government can control a casino. And trust me, if the federal government does not want to control a casino, that's the last thing that a government wants to get involved in. He perhaps could, down the road, depending upon how this plays out, determine that neither side is capable, or none of the four sides are capable of handling this thing without a threat to the public. And maybe down the road, you're looking at the possibility of bankruptcy, maybe somebody else taking it over. I don't rule anything out. The only thing that would surprise me, quite frankly, there's another hearing on December 9th coming up, the judges. It would surprise me if he reopened it. The reason is that in the last month, we've seen no evidence that these sides are capable of getting together for a compromise.
They won't get along.
No evidence that they can get along. They keep threatening each other.
Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hello, good morning, John.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. Chelsea Park was a great place for entertainment. I mean, God, good bands used to come through there. I used to love their entertainment. But it's sad that they have to close it down. But anyway, that was my question to you guys.
Okay.
You mean a question about why they had to shut it down?
Yeah, but they shut everything down.
They had to, because once the tribal faction invaded the casino in early October, 500 people who were there as customers that night were in danger because the invading faction brought in weapons. There were fights and things were happening. So the federal government and the state government each took action to force the shutdown of the casino in order to protect the public. The judge has kept it shut down because he has seen no evidence so far, not one bit of evidence, that any of those tribal factions can get along. Every time a court hearing has taken place, other opposing factions have stood outside the courthouse, yelled threats, yelled this. They're just not ready to share the $10 or $100 million a year. It's really a remarkable case, and I am not picking, believe me, on anybody. I'm just
You're not taking sides.
I'm not taking sides on Tex McDonald or Ayala.
Lewis.
But there is no evidence that those groups can work together to keep the public safe in that casino. That's why it's shut down. And yes, they bring great acts in, no question about it. And it's a fun place to go. But right now, it's unsafe to go.
Okay. Hey, we're talking to Dennis Hart on the air off the presses. Hey, this program today, sponsored by Dr. Thomas Casagrande, 2020 Optometrics. He is our new sponsor here on Connect With Me. Glad to have him along. He's located over there at Shaw and Blackstone. So go check him out. He's got more than 2,000 frames to choose from. Back with our show, and a call is coming in. So hang on, caller. If we don't get you this time, we'll get you right after the break here on Connect With Me. Back in a moment. At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89. So call or stop by to schedule your appointment today. All right, back here on the program on Connect with Me. Caller, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead. You're on the air.
So here's my beef. I don't care about the people who choose to go and blow their money in the casino. When they first built that casino, you know, I have been driving up 41 for decades to Yosemite and Bass Lake and all those outdoor recreation places.
Mm-hmm.
That little valley there with those rolling hills was pleasant. It was calming to see on the way up to recreate in the Mountains National Park.
It was beautiful.
They built the casino, and it wasn't, you couldn't really see it from the highway. It was somewhat aesthetic with its rustic look. Then they built that hotel and that parking lot, and that is the biggest monstrosity that this valley has ever seen. I'm telling you, every time I go past there, I spit out the window because that thing is just such a monstrosity. I can't stand looking at it. As far as I'm concerned, I'd be happy to see it fall down into rubble.
Listen, caller, I appreciate the comments and tell us how you really feel, but do you have a question for Dennis?
No, I just had to make that comment.
You had to unload, right? You had to get that off your chest.
He's the first person to call in and admit he spits at the casino as he drives by. Thank you for sharing that with us very well. You are right. It's not aesthetically pleasing. It was built, the hotel was built as part of the deal that the Indians had when they put the thing up, okay? That's their moneymaker. The casino and the hotel are the moneymaker. It was going to be the big draw for tourists and all of this. We understand that. It's not. Does it fit in with the Sierra views? Probably not. No.
But they don't care about that.
No, they're in for the money.
They want you to spend the money.
They want you to spend and
instead of driving up for one day, they built a hotel. You stay for 2 or 3 nights.
And remember the high school that booked its reunion up there.
Oh yeah, the high school
they
reunion.
couldn't apparently hold up there because the place was shut down after the violence. What was that? Hoover High School. They had,
I believe it was Hoover High. Yeah.
And I don't know where they actually had. If anybody from Hoover went to that reunion, where'd you go? It wasn't to Chukchansi.
Yeah. If anybody out there is a graduate of Hoover High School, I want to know where that reunion was held. I know it was scheduled for Chukchansi, but we don't. I never found out. Never saw in the paper where it was held.
Casinos on Indian lands are gold mines in general terms, as we know, because people will go. There is this gambling fetish, and most people who go tend to be older and they tend to be less economically viable. They're looking for the big payout.
Yeah.
This is nothing less than a gold mine up there, and the tragedy for this, and it is a tragedy for this tribe, okay?
Yeah.
Because they're fighting each other when they don't have to fight each other. All they have to do is compromise, and they'll each become rich. They'll be it's really a good deal, and they can't do it. They can't compromise.
Caller, you're on the air.
Hello, this is Will.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Will.
Pueblo, California. And I think it's a blessing that the casino got shut down.
A blessing that it is shut down?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Making everybody move,
Why is that?
Money that people should be, helping their kids out with and stuff like that, or helping ourselves.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for the comment. I appreciate the call.
Gentleman who
very
apparently thinks that because it's open, it lures people up there who shouldn't go up, and maybe they're not spending as much time or money with their families, but they're going up and gambling, etc. There certainly is that view, no question about that.
Right.
Always a lot of anti-gambling folks, etc. But you're always going to have gambling. Gambling's legal, and casinos. We have made the pact. The United States government and California's made the deal with the Indians, and I talked about it last time. It's our way of paying them back for what happened during the 1800s and early 1900s.
Our takeover of their land.
Our takeover of their land. We gave them land. They have the land. We allowed them to put gaming on the land and essentially tax-free money for people who go up there. Okay, so these are sovereign nations up there, which unfortunately, and we don't want to be involved. And the Madera County Sheriff is the last one who wants to go up there every 3 weeks to separate these guys. But when violence breaks out, that's when the United States government intervenes, and when Madera County has to intervene. John Anderson, the outgoing sheriff, has repeatedly said, I don't want to be up there. I don't have the folks to be up here to separate these guys.
Right.
But he has
He's
to.
got better fish to fry somewhere else. Another call coming in here on Connect with Me. Good morning, caller. What's your question?
Hi. Well, I am fourth generation from the Oakhurst area, and the casino is, supportive of a lot of people up there. And the caller that called in that said he thought it was really good that it shut down. Well, he doesn't realize how many families it affected. And it was really only one side of the tribe that was hostile. The Ulysses side wasn't. So.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. It is an economic driver in your part or that part of the county. You've got 1,000 people who were employed in that casino who are no longer, either they're on unemployment now or they're not getting any money at all. No question it's an important driver. At the same time, you've got the tribal factions, and you've got 4 factions who are fighting up there. It's not just one, it's 4 factions who are diametrically opposed to every other faction. And since the casino was shut down, as you may know, there have been a couple of attempts by 1 or 2 factions to get people together on a Saturday or a Sunday to talk about how to mediate it. They can't get people to come out because they're unwilling to decide we're going to work together. They all believe they're in the right, all those 4 factions. They all want the money, and they're unwilling to compromise. That's the tragedy of this situation. It's for the 1,000 people and their families who are no longer being paid by Chuck Chansey, but the tribal members themselves who can't agree on how to divide up $9 or $10 million a month.
Yeah, that's basically what it boils down to in a nutshell. You have all those factions that can't agree on the money. That's why the place is shut down. And so follow the money, and you'll find out what's going on. And certainly the money has caused a rift among those 4 tribal factions.
Let's be straight. Yeah, the federal government didn't shut them down just because of the money. I mean, they had not submitted their audit.
It was the violence.
It's unsafe.
It's unsafe.
They cannot reopen that right now.
But the money created this atmosphere.
That's correct. That is correct.
That was unsafe for all parties involved.
And let's not ignore the fact that it wasn't just the $9 or $10 million a month that they're fighting over. There's $50 million that's missing up there, according to this latest audit. Well, that means somebody's taken it. Somebody has absconded with 50 million big ones. Who is that? Well, it was the Luis Ayala faction, who's been in charge for the last year or 2, and they were the ones responsible for the audit. One cannot say for sure, but there's no question the other 3 tribal factions think they know where the money went.
Yeah, well, there's a lot more to this story than meets the eye. Back with our program here on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. This program today on the air off the press is sponsored by Dr. Thomas Casagrande of 2020 Optometrics, located at Shaw and Blackstone. Back with our program in a moment.
Attention all units. We have reports of 2 motorcycle cops protecting California's highway.
That's for us, good buddy.
The Men of Chips are on MeTV.
Hi, I'm John Baker. I'm John Baker. It's Officer Baker.
He's the blonde one.
Hi there.
Officer Poncherello, man.
Frank Poncherello.
Oh, I'm Frank Poncherello.
And he's the one who's Eric Estrada.
There's no way I wouldn't remember a name like that.
Catch the blonde one and the one who's Eric Estrada
now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today. Back here on the program. Glad to take your calls today. 436-MeTV option 11. Again, our program sponsored by Dr. Thomas Casagrande at 2020 Optometric. Got a couple of email questions here for you, but I want to ask you, because I saw this report, and you don't have to comment on it, but I'm just going to tell our viewers. This was on Friday night on Channel 30, and they had a report that somebody was talking about the fact that Wall Street has invested some $300 million in Chukchansi Casino, and they may come in and want their money, and they'll foreclose on the place, and it will be gone forever, or could be. So that's another equation to this whole story and a possibility.
Well, right. You've got these investors now who are not getting any return because the place is shut down. The investors are looking at the proprietors of the casino, and they're saying, wait a minute, none of these folks can manage this place. They can't even manage themselves right now. They can't keep themselves away from each other and harming each other or trying to harm each other. So that is a possibility. Now think about how that ripple effect would play out if they foreclosed on it, shut it down, shut the damn thing down. 1,000 people out of work in eastern Madera County, throwing Oakhurst, Coarse Gold, that area, into an immense impoverished situation.
By the way, there's that hotel that caller was talking about.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that looks pretty good in a mountain
great,
area.
Doesn't it?
Sure. Well, I mean, it looks like a casino, and that's what it's supposed to look like. You know, a glamorous spot. People drive in there ready to give their money to the Chukchansi Indians, and this looks very modern.
Where's the
looking.
mountain range?
Well, it's somewhere. It looks like a place that could be in the heart of Palm Springs or Los Angeles or San Francisco, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the way it's supposed to look. It's supposed to enchant you when you go in. The whole idea is you're going to go in and you believe you can win, and you're going to spend all your money, and you're not going to worry about what time it is. That's why there are no, has anybody ever noticed there are no clocks inside a casino? Because they don't want you to know what time it is. They don't want you to get tired. They don't want you to think it's midnight, I shouldn't be here. No clocks, very few windows. I mean, it's a controlled environment designed.
I have a lot of security cameras, though.
Designed to get the money, designed to get your money and my money out of our pockets, and they do it very well.
Caller, your question. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. My name's Teresa, and
Hey,
I'm
Teresa.
disabled. I'm on a fixed income, and I have a budget for entertainment.
See?
You know, and being disabled, there's not a whole lot of things to do, so I like to go to casinos. Now, that entertainment budget is what I use. Now, if I win, it just allows me to go back more times. I have bought a new lawnmower and a few things, but, you know, I go down there with so much to have fun with.
Teresa,
And when that's
so
gone,
let me ask you a
I'm
question
gone.
then. Okay, that was
But,
my question.
As far as the skins down here, I'm native. I'm Cherokee from Oklahoma, and they let me run it. But, you know, it's sad to see Native American people making fools of themselves, you know, on national TV and being idiots, and it just makes me sick. You know,
Teresa,
the greed, and I think that drugs has a lot to do with it, because on the res, drugs run rampant.
Okay.
And I think, unfortunately, that has a lot to do with it.
Teresa, if Tex McDonald were on this show with us right now and you could talk to Tex McDonald, who's one of the faction leaders, what would you tell him?
I would tell him, you know what, admit what you've done, own it, so you can get past it and resolve it and get on with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And go in your sock drawer and pull out that money that's missing.
Tex McDonald, who we're looking at
bring
on
it
the air.
back
Yep.
and say, you know what, hey, I'm human, I screwed up, you know, my head got too swelled up, I thought I was the cock of the walk, whatever.
Teresa.
You know, just own it and get on with it.
One more
Because
question for you.
1,200 people are out of work.
Yeah.
One more
1,200
question for you,
people.
Teresa. What you say you have a budget. How easy is it for you when you're running out of money, when you've lost at the casino? How easy is it for you to just walk away and say, that's it, I'm done?
Well, like I said, I'm on a fixed income. I have barely enough to, like, you know, I don't have that much to spend with, but when I'm done, when that money is done out of my pocket, that's it. You know, I get my money and I pay all my bills, buy all the stuff I got to take care of my pets, whatever, and what's left is a very small amount, just about $230, and I choose to go to the casino and have fun. Because I get to talk with people and you know, mix and mingle and have coffee, and a lot of times I don't even spend that whole amount in one, you know, city. You know, I play it on the El Cheapo. I play the penny machines, and I know machines that I can play on 10 cents, 10 cents, and it pays pretty good. And if I win, I get the hell out of there. Go. I left the casino actually and went to Kmart to buy my lawnmower. Okay? Because I knew if I didn't, a lot of times I'll buy stuff at the gift shop because at least I go home with something.
Teresa, thank you very much for the call. So she has a lot of willpower. There's no question about
and
that.
And she goes from Chancey to Kmart and buys that lawnmower.
That's right. She'll be going to Table Mountain now. Who knows?
Who knows?
Hey, an email question. What about maybe corporate sponsorship for Chancey Park, like maybe a beer or beer company or car dealership?
Well, sure. I mean, Chuck Chancey, remember, was looking for corporate sponsors. The park was looking for corporate sponsors. Chuck Chancey came in. But remember, they have to decide, this is, first of all, the image they want to have by sponsoring, putting their name on a ballpark, okay? Certainly a car dealership could do it, but would that lead to car sales? Would that lead those folks at the ballpark to go out and say, wow, I'm going to X car dealership on North Blackstone?
But how difficult is it considering the image of the Grizzlies, which is not good? They don't have a winning team. Number one, they lost their affiliation with the Giants. Now they're with Houston, a team that no one in this area knows. Well, I shouldn't say no one. Very few people.
Very few people.
Okay, and then you have the downtown issue, the safety issue. So you have all these factions. Okay, now if you're a major sponsor, let's say you're a big car dealership, and you can afford $1 million a year, would the Grizzlies and that stadium be one particular plot you'd be looking at to sponsor your dealership?
See, I'm not sure whether a car dealership would look at them, and I'm also not sure the Grizzlies should look at a beer sponsor. What image are you projecting if, let's say, Budweiser were to sponsor? Let's go to Bud Field tonight. Okay, so we're going to go to a ballpark name for a beer. Now, that image, is that really what the Grizzlies want, especially when you have a new team coming in and sponsoring? The Houston Astros are now the new godfathers of the Fresno Grizzlies, etc. Do they want to be associated with a beer? I don't know.
Especially when you have field trips that go out to those ballparks.
Yes.
Field trips like the Cub Scouts, the
a
Boy
lot of
Scouts.
kids go out there.
Kids go out there all the time.
Right.
So now a beer company is going to come in and sponsor that place?
Right. I mean, it's really a matter of, is there somebody in this city or somebody outside this city but close to Fresno willing to pump down $1 million a year, $1 million a year for naming rights? Chuck Chancey was the one willing to do it. And the park was willing to take it because it was desperate. I mean, the team was desperate. They're losing. The Grizzlies, let's be clear, lose money every year. The owners of the Grizzlies have never made money, because they don't have enough people going to the stadium. The stadium's too big. They draw 4,000, maybe 3,000 a night to the doggone stadium. The only time they really get sellouts are when they do fireworks or, as we've talked, taco truck throwdown nights, okay? And there's nothing wrong with taco truck throwdown nights, but you can't build a franchise on it. You can't live on that every year.
That's right.
You
can't live on tacos every single day, can you? Or can you?
Well, now let's see. If they were sponsored by a beer, tacos and beer, taco beer throwdown nights.
That's right.
That could work.
Go.
That could work.
All right. We're here with Dennis Hart on the air, off the presses. This program sponsored by Dr. Thomas Casagrande, 2020 Optometrics. Back with our program, 436-MeTV Option 11, in just a moment.
Ladies' Night was started in his honor. Barstools pulled themselves out for him. The only thing Chuck Norris is afraid of is her. Cheers is the most memorable bar in the world. You may not always watch comedy, but when you do, watch Cheers.
MeTV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
If someone came in with a lesser offer than $1 million, you think the Grizzlies would bite?
Well, one of our staff members during the break asked about $200,000. Would that do it for naming? I don't think so. The Grizzlies need more than that. The stadium needs more than that. Now, maybe you could get 5 guys to come in for $200,000. Maybe call it the Chuck Chancey, Budweiser, Coors, Taco Truck, whatever the name of the stadium is, whoever the naming rights are, etc.
I'm going to throw this out there right now. Brett Hedrick, he's been on the program before. Brett Hedrick Chevrolet, he can afford
Hedrick Chevrolet Park, okay?
Right.
Well, the question is
$200,000, Brett. Go ahead, get 4 more.
Maybe a caller would come in and give some other ideas on who might sponsor it. But again, it's a corporate image thing.
Right.
You want to make some money, but you don't want your image sullied. One of the things the Giants said as they were pulling out, as they were driving the truck out of town last September, a couple of months ago, you will remember they said, we have safety problems. We want more police downtown.
Yeah.
The mayor said at that point, gosh, we can do that, but they had never done that in the first 8 or 9 years, et cetera. Well, the Giants were concerned about safety. They were concerned about image. Remember, they also said downtown, kind of scrungy. They didn't use those words, but we
Right.
want to see some revitalization. There were a lot of issues that prompted the Giants to pull.
And they had ball player complaints many times over the course of the past several years, including from Brandon Belt and his family when he played here in Fresno, that he was concerned about his safety for him and his wife, his family.
Mhm.
So when you get a complaint like that, and then you're the Giants organization, you see no improvement downtown, no safety measures
Right.
being taken, then you got to wonder, well, why did they pull out of town? Well, duh, that's one of the reasons.
Exactly.
All right, caller, go ahead. Caller, you're on the air. Hey, caller, got to turn down the sound on your TV.
Up.
Oh, well, we lost them.
Yeah, but you know, in some ways, and this is kind of a diversion, although it's tied in still with Chuck Chansey because it's still called Chuck Chansey Park. This is the worst case scenario for the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Number one, the Giants pull. Number 1A, they win the World Series.
And they're out of there.
And they're out. And number 1B, the Houston Astros are coming in. And this is not a diss on the Houston Astros, but nobody in this city cares about the Houston Astros.
On top of that, they're one of the worst teams in baseball.
Have been for years.
On top of that.
So now you add on to this Chuck Chansey in absolute limbo up on the mountain, so they don't know who's sponsoring the name of the stadium. I'm not sure that there's much Santa could bring the Grizzlies that
but see,
could help them right now.
I mean, one of the benefits of having the Giants here as an affiliate is that you could go to a Grizzly game and then you could say, wow, Hector Sanchez, the catcher for the Grizzlies and the Giants, he was just called up to San Francisco last night. I think we're driving to the Bay Area this weekend so we can see him play with the Giants.
Well, that was the whole point.
Who was going to go down to Houston and watch any of the ball players here move up to the majors?
Well, that's the whole point of the affiliation. People have seen Buster Posey play here. They've seen Tim Lincecum play here. They can drive to see them in San Francisco. Nobody's flying to Houston to see anybody from the Grizzlies. It isn't going to happen.
Who's flying to Houston to see these guys play?
So it's all playing in. You've got two players right now who are having a really bad fall. Chuck Chansey Casino up there for obvious reasons, and Chuck Chansey Park and the Fresno Grizzlies. And I know that they're PR people. Remember, they're paid to say this. This is great for us. We understand that.
Right.
But let's get real. There's no interest in the Houston Astros in this city. That means it's going to be a tougher sell to get people to go out.
And it was a tough sell to begin with the Giants. Even with the Giants, who've won 3 World Series in the last 5 years. It was a tough sell here in Fresno. Imagine without the Giants. Now we'll see what they do.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to take a break here on Connect with Me. Continue with our main guy, our media expert, Dennis Hart, here on the Air, Off the Presses. Dr. Thomas Casagrande of 2020 Optometrics is our sponsor. We're back in a moment, including your phone calls. About 15 minutes left in the program. At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today. Yep, our thanks to Dr. Thomas Casagrande for being a sponsor here today. And changing topics now, and some of the Election Day races have, they've actually run beyond the deadline. The deadline, of course, was Election Day.
Yes, they have.
Did not know the outcome to some of these races. We don't know the outcome officially of the Costa Teixeira race, although Costa pulled way ahead. He's well over 700
votes,
votes ahead now of Johnny Teixeira.
Right, and you have just enough provisional ballots. You've got about 2,000 provisional ballots, and there's Jim Costa, who's about to win his 6th term as a congressman. You have about 2,000 provisional ballots in the 16th district in Fresno, still to be counted, and about an equal number, and there, of course, is Mr. Teixeira, an equal number in Madera and Merced counties. The problem for Mr. Teixeira is it's not enough to overcome Mr. Costa's 700 vote lead.
No, and especially we have so many votes remaining, or ballots to be counted in Fresno County,
right,
and that plays right into Costa's hands.
Costa's winning 64% of all the ballots so far in Fresno County. Teixeira is winning in Madera and Merced counties by about the same margin, but they'll just offset each other. So what you've got is, for the second time in 4 years, Costa is surviving a very difficult re-election. And this one was more difficult than his earlier one in the sense he beat Andy Vidak in 2010. Nobody saw Teixeira coming. Not the Republicans, not the Democrats. This was not on anybody's radar as a close
what's the
race.
message you're getting out of that race? Because it seems like the last few elections, Costa has survived. He hasn't won the thing outright. He has survived.
Right.
What message does that send?
Well, the message here is the message that Democrats got all across the country. There was low voter turnout, which always favors Republicans because they will turn out more than Democrats will. Hispanics and blacks did not turn out here or anywhere else. That played into Teixeira's strength, except nobody knew he had strength. The Republicans didn't put any money into his race. As you know, he didn't even have a campaign manager who was paid.
No commercials.
Nobody saw him coming. This was an anti-Obama vote. That's what the message is. It's exactly the same thing that happened to Rick Lehman in 1994, longtime congressman in the district.
Democrat.
He was blindsided by George Radonovich in the anti-Clinton turnout in the midterms. And he lost, and his career ended as a congressman. It looks as if Jim Costa is going to survive. This is an anti-Obama vote, and that is so strong.
This isn't a one-time thing with Costa. He's the last 2 or 3 elections, he has survived. He hasn't, just outright won the thing.
Yeah, but he has won.
Yeah.
A majority of people who vote in his district have decided that he's the guy they want. And look, he's had 32 years in public life. State assemblyman, state senator, congressman. He's been a very effective lawmaker. People like him in general terms. Now, you've got people who dislike him intensely. Who dislikes him in his district? Farmers who want a very simple answer for every question out there.
Well, they want a simple answer to the water question.
And there is no simple answer to the water question because it's obviously a complex problem. We just passed a water bond. That's going to go a ways toward perhaps building reservoirs just above Millerton, et cetera.
It may not take effect, and we may not see the effect for years to come. No?
Well, you can't fix it immediately. There's no water to fix it. I mean, this isn't a talk show answer. On radio talk shows, if you were hosting a radio talk show, let's say today.
You mean on Power Talk?
On Power Talk. If you were hosting one this afternoon, your callers would say, well, Costa can just open the spigot. Well, there is no spigot to open. There's no water. There's no magic fix to this thing.
Well, Costa can't open that himself.
No.
He's got to have the other...
Congress and the president have to get involved in all this, et cetera.
It's a federal issue.
But as disliked as Jim Costa is on talk radio, because talk radio is very simplistic and very right-wing, the truth of the matter is...
No, wait a minute, Dennis. He's not only disliked on talk radio.
The truth of the radio is...
The truth of the matter is...
He wins re-election every time.
He barely won this, so
Doesn't
there's
matter.
a segment of the voting population that can't stand him.
Don't deny this. I'm not denying it.
At least half.
Well, not quite half.
Maybe not quite half, but almost.
No,
almost.
Jim Costa is a blue dog Democrat, and there aren't very many blue dog Democrats. And by that I mean he's a moderate Democrat. He's not a liberal Democrat by any means.
Well.
He's a moderate Democrat, and Republicans in
I've heard people
district
refer to him as a do-nothing Democrat.
Well, that's their opinion, of course.
Right.
For any Democrats do nothing. He's going to win a tough race. Now, here's my take on Jim Costa. Maybe he should look at this and say he's 62 years old.
Right.
Maybe he should look at this and say, it's not worth it to me. Maybe I need to get out after this time. Maybe go into the lobby route, which Rick Lehman went into very profitably. He's been a very successful lobbyist, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, 2 years from now, when Hillary Clinton's running, as we presume she is for president, Democrats will come out. He may have an easier time in 2016 for his reelection because Democrats always turn out in election years, especially if they're motivated by a charismatic candidate, et cetera.
All right. Back with more of Dennis Hart in just a moment here on Connect With Me, 436-ME-TV option 11. The program sponsored by Dr. Thomas Casagrande.
It's almost time.
Now we'll find out once and for all about Clark Kent and Superman.
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a TV show.
Yes, but who is he? What's his name?
He's Superman.
Golly, Clark, won't that be wonderful seeing Superman?
Fighting a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and television the Me TV way.
No one can do the things that Superman does.
The Adventures of Superman.
Now on Me TV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
You're watching Connect With Me here on Me TV Fresno, and the race that really turned nasty.
Oh, yeah.
Very nasty. Gamoyan and Hill. This one for Superior Court Judge. There's Gamoyan right there, and she appears to have won this handily over Hill.
This is the nastiest race we have seen in a long time, and it's rare that you see this for a judicial race. But this apparently became a very personal thing involving developer families and all of this with the intertwining family relationships.
Chamber of Commerce got involved.
It is remarkable because, I mean, Gamoyan and Hill fought each other on a very low level in terms of personalities. Hardly ever do you see this. Now, we saw this in the district attorney's race, okay, in the primary, in June, et cetera, where Smitkamp won. But this one surprised me. So much money went into this, full-page ads, television spots. Money, big-time $1 million campaign for a judicial race. You rarely see it. So one is led to believe that this became personal among families, and that family members, developer families, decided they were going to fight each other to see who could have the bragging rights, and that's what this turned out to be, I believe.
That's what this whole race was about, you think?
I do.
Yeah.
I believe that. I believe it was personal. I mean, why in the world, you had Gamoyan saying, well, they were accusing each other, tossing mud at each other, etc. But down near the end, where Gamoyan was ripping Hill to shreds for allegedly for putting up something on Facebook years ago, for being, quote, a liberal, well, we have no idea what Rachel Hill was going to do as a judge,
At the same time,
et
they're ripping on Gamoyan's voting record for lack of voting.
Exactly.
But you know what? Hill didn't vote either.
Right.
So I mean, it's like the pot calling the kettle black. So
this is the type of campaign, and people always wonder, and you see letters to the editor, why do they campaign like this? Well, they campaign like this because it's effective.
It draws attention.
It does draw attention. Nobody knows anything about the judicial record or the background of anybody's professional life. How are you going to get attention? You're going to smear somebody with this allegation, smear somebody with this. It worked, and Gamoyan won. Now, I am surprised she won by the amount she won, and it's not, of course, we haven't got the final voting. More than 4,000 vote difference with a few thousand left to go.
All right, City Council seat district number 1. This seat being vacated by Blong Jong, and so now it looks like Esmeralda Soraya has defeated Carrie Catalano handily. It looked like Catalano took the lead for a time, and then there's Esmeralda right there. She pulled ahead a few days after the election. Carrie Catalano, of course, on the losing end of this, Dennis. This one not as nasty as Gamoyan and Hill, but still doesn't change the makeup of the council too much, because Soraya sits pretty much on the same side of the aisle as Blong Jong did.
Right.
They're kind of moderate Democrats.
This one surprised me, I have to admit, because I thought Catalano, who had a lot of significant endorsements and had run, I thought, a pretty good campaign, had done everything right for over these months. This one surprised me.
You think she snuck up on him?
Soraya, yeah, I think so. And Soraya had, remember, backing of unions, and unions are desperate to gain a hold on the Fresno City Council because they've been on the losing end of a lot of votes in the last few years. So they decided that this was their battleground. They were going to pump in money on this one. She was under the radar for, I think, a lot of people. As I say, this was a surprise to me. This one came up and got me.
Here's the one that kind of surprised me is Prop 47. I want to put that up on the screen here so people can read it and they can see what this one is about. This would reduce property and drug crimes from a felony to a misdemeanor.
Right.
I would imagine Jerry Dyer and Sheriff Margaret Mims are perplexed by this one, that actually passed. This passed.
Not only did this pass, it passed handily, 58 to 42%, 1 million votes difference. It was not even close. I think what this was really fueled by, obviously, was the possibility of getting rid of drug crimes. A lot of folks came out and said, it should not be a felony to smoke pot. It should not be a felony to have a small amount of drug possession on you. Now, there's obviously going to be the law of unintended consequences, and people didn't think about this. 10,000 people who are in jail right now are eligible for resentencing under this. These are all folks who have done something wrong and they're in jail. These folks are eventually going to come out into the community. Guess what's going to happen at that point?
Put that back up there. I want to see that graphic again, because I want to see what it says exactly here in terms of the wording. It says it would reduce property and drug crimes.
Right.
So if someone breaks into your house, ransacks the place,
if they take
that is a misdemeanor and not a felony.
If they take under $950 worth of items, yes, this reduced it to a misdemeanor.
And who's going to determine that?
For shoplifting, grand theft, forgery, fraud, writing bad checks, under $950, it's now going to be a misdemeanor. That's correct. Now, I think the unintended consequence, this is what Sheriff Mims was complaining about the day or two after the election when she held her news conference. They're coming out. These folks are going to come out of jail. And
they're going to be breaking into your home and mine.
That's correct.
Maybe.
I think there is going to be a causal effect, a correlation between this passing and an increased crime rate in Fresno and other places. Yes.
Yeah, and there's a connection between drug use and break-ins.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Hey, got a minute left. I want to throw this curve at you here.
I'm ready.
Possible Keystone Pipeline vote by the Senate tomorrow.
Yep.
What's the president going to do if it passes?
He's going to veto it. The House and the Senate will both pass it. It will be vetoed. This is an effort on both sides. Mary Landrieu, of course, down in Louisiana, is desperate in her runoff, the Democrat senator who's going to lose in the runoff
December
next month.
the 6th is the runoff.
She wants a vote on this because it's her only hope for survival down in Louisiana. The president's
she's changed her position,
yes,
by the way, just because of this runoff.
And I'm sure that when we're on here next month, what we're going to be talking about is the president taking action on immigration unilaterally, because that's going to roil the political process to the detriment of this country. It's going to be a mess.
Washington, D.C. is just full of poison right now.
Full of poison. And it's not going to get better, and I predict in 3 weeks when we're back together, we'll be talking about it.
All right. Dennis Hart, always good to see you.
Good to see you, my friend.
All right.
Good to see
Happy
you.
silver anniversary here on the show.
And happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Thanks for being here. All right, Dennis Hart, our guest today. That's going to do it for us. We're going to be back tomorrow with another edition of Connect with Me with a business segment that you won't believe. It's incredible. All right. Have a great day, and thanks to Dr. Thomas Casagrande for his sponsorship. See you tomorrow.